Deadpool 2's final trailer is here, and we think it might be hiding a few things in between all those snappy pop culture references and explosions. Let's dive in. To kick it all off, the still mysterious DMC, the security force that keeps popping up in the movie's trailers, have a convoy that Poole and his brand new XForce need to intercept, with Cable aiming to get in their way. Later in the trailer, we see that the convoy is full of cells containing prisoners in yellow jumpsuits. Those are the same yellow jumpsuits we see in this shot, worn by Wade Wilson and Julian Dennison's Russell, who shares a first name and pyrokinetic abilities with comic book character Fire Fist. It points to the DMC being an organization that rounds up and imprisons people with superhuman abilities. The Department of Mutant Control, perhaps? It seems like Cable is more interested in killing Russell than controlling him, but we're still not clear on why. Speaking of Cable, we get more of a look at what Josh Brolin's take on the time-traveling soldier has in the way of abilities. Apart from the robot arm and arsenal of weaponry, he's got an energy shield and telekinetic abilities tucked away. Handy. And of course, it wouldn't be a Deadpool movie without a fourth wall-breaking reference to the fact that Brolin is playing another major Marvel character this summer.
Pump the hate brakes, Thanos.
We already knew that Deadpool would be forming a new X-Force lineup for this movie, but we've got a better idea than ever of who that will include. In a series of superhero auditions, we get final confirmation that Bedlam, played by Terry Crews, and the supernaturally lucky Domino, played by Zazie Beetz, are part of the group. We also know for sure that Louis Tan will play the sword-wielding Shatterstar, another time-traveling hero who could be connected to Cable's sudden appearance. In the trailer's best joke, we find out that Rob Delaney's mysterious Peter, who we glimpsed in the last trailer, is just a totally normal guy with no powers that also gets added to the team, because Deadpool is forming this version of X-Force by a job listing on LinkedIn. Seriously. But there are still a couple of X-Force outliers. We still don't know who Bill Skarsgård's character is, but we know now he's fond of guns and skull jewelry. A few comic book X-Force members could fit the bill. For instance, Zeitgeist wears a similar yellow mouth mask, and Phantom X favors pistols with bespoke bullets, which could explain Skarsgård's choice of hand decoration. Even stranger, check out this shot of X-Force jumping out of the plane. We can see Deadpool, Domino, Shatterstar, Peter, and what definitely looks like Bedlam's big old legs. So is that an empty parachute that someone's not using, or is there an invisible member of the team? Or is there a big surprise character who's been digitally removed from the trailer? Stranger things have happened in the marketing of these Deadpool movies. We also seem to be getting a clearer view of how X-Force works in an X-Men universe. You can see Negasonic Teenage Warhead in this shot of Colossus being blasted backwards, so they still seem to be hanging out after the first movie, and Shiola Kutsuna's character, who we think is Surge, also seems to be on their team. It seems likely these characters are straightforward X-Men, so hopefully we'll see a classic ideological showdown with the less principled X-Force at some point. Oh, and on the subject of superhero showdowns, clearly no cinematic universe is safe from Wade's quips.
So dark. You sure you're not from the DC universe?
It's a bit of a stretch, but the snowy compound we see Deadpool getting blasted out of here definitely bears a resemblance to the X-Men movie's Alkali Lake, where Wolverine was created as part of the Canadian government's Weapon X program. In the comics, Deadpool was also created by Weapon X, but the first Deadpool film had a new origin story for Wade. Perhaps the DMC's work is more about research and exploitation than control. During a montage of action from the film, we spot what could be the most exciting secret hiding in the trailer. While this shot is cut to make it look as though Colossus is capsizing the DMC convoy truck, slowing it down reveals something very strange. For a start, he seems to be wearing a spiked knuckle duster, which you wouldn't think is required of a super strong Russian metal man, and what he's punching definitely isn't a truck. That looks more like armor of some kind. So what is it? Wind back a bit and we think we might have an answer. As Domino takes down the DMC driver, there's a thermal image on the computer in front of her seat. Could that be the unstoppable Juggernaut? It might explain who actor Jack Kesey's still unrevealed character is, and Kane Marco squared off against Deadpool in some of his earliest appearances, plus there would be plenty of people happy to finally forget Vinnie Jones' unfortunately memorable take on the classic villain in X-Men The Last Stand. Finally, we get a couple of excellent references in quick succession. Deadpool calling Cable One-Eyed Willie is a nice Goonies reference in and of itself, and then you remember that Josh Brolin was in the 80s classic as a teenager. Right after that, we get a lovely visual gag as Deadpool fails to block most of Cable's bullets with his swords, which also happens to be a pretty pointed reference to Ryan Reynolds' much less popular take on Wade Wilson in X-Men Origins Wolverine. If we're going to be reminded of that awful movie, at least it's going to be funny. Did you spot anything that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and if that wasn't enough Deadpool for you, we've got every trailer for Wade's next adventure ready for you to rewatch. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to IGN on all your favorite platforms.